In the heartland of America, where the plains stretched endlessly and life feels safe, a nightmare unfolded in the summer of 1989. Young women vanished without a trace, leaving behind only whispers of terror and the shadow of a killer. This is the story of Richard Grissom Jr., a man whose chilling crimes earned him the name the Grim Butcher of Kansas. Richard Grissom Jr. seemed like an ordinary young man, charming, well dressed, and articulate. But beneath his polished exterior lurked a predator. By the late 1980s, Grissom had already served time for burglary and violence, a pattern that hinted at his darker impulses. In June 1989, terror gripped Kansas as three young women, Joanna Higginbottom, Teresa Brown, and Christine Rush, disappeared within weeks of each other. Each woman was young, vibrant, and living an independent life, with no apparent connections to suggest a common thread. Friends and family were left in anguish, their lives shattered by the unexplained vanishings. But the horror only deepened as police discovered unsettling similarities between the cases. The women had all vanished from apartments with no signs of forced entry, and their personal belongings were left untouched, as though they had simply stepped out and never returned. The investigation into the disappearances quickly zeroed in on Grissom, a charming conman. He used his charisma to lure victims, often pretending to be a businessman or offering help to gain their trust. What made him even more dangerous was the meticulous nature he left behind, no clear evidence, making it nearly impossible to connect him to the crimes. As investigators dug deeper, Grissom's disturbing past began to surface. Years earlier, he had been convicted of killing a woman in Kansas City, a crime that mirrored the current disappearances. His ability to manipulate those around him, paired with his complete lack of remorse, painted a chilling portrait of a calculated killer. Police were finally able to link Grissom to the missing woman when they discovered he had used their credit cards after their disappearances. Surveillance footage showed him casually shopping with items purchased using the victims' accounts, a brazen move that revealed his arrogance. But despite their growing suspicions, investigators faced a grim reality. The bodies of the victims had never been found. Without them, convicting Grissom would be a daunting challenge. In July 1989, Richard Grissom Jr. was arrested. During his interrogation, he displayed no emotion, refusing to cooperate or reveal the whereabouts of his victims. His silence only added to the anguish of the families who were desperate for answers. The trial was a grueling affair, but the evidence of Grissom's financial exploitation of the victims and his predatory behavior was damning. He was convicted of three murders and sentenced to life in prison. To this day, Grissom has never disclosed the location of his victims, leaving their families in torments and the public haunted by the unanswered questions surrounding his crimes. Richard Grissom Jr. remains behind bars, a man whose chilling actions left scars on the heartland of Kansas. His refusal to reveal the truth ensures that his victims' families are left with a lifetime of pain, searching for answers that may never come. In a place known for its open skies and quiet life, Richard Grissom Jr. brought a storm of terror. The Grim Butcher of Kansas reminds us that evil can hide in plain sight. and some mysteries will remain buried forever.